Dear friends, in the previous session, we discussed the actual point of balance and ideal point of balance, and we also discussed what is the significance when the actual point of balance moves away from ideal point of balance, because this is where the mathematical calculations are made and a new graph is created, once again joining the changed sphere of the economy as well as the square of stability of the economy. We have already discussed that if we divide it vertically, we get two rectangulars, and if we divide once again horizontally, we get two rectangulars. Similarly, on the line of repulsion, forces of repulsion, if we divide it, there will emerge four triangles of stability. There is the stability of demand value, and stability of supply atmosphere, and stability of monetary forces. Similarly, there will be another triangle that will represent the physical stability part of the economy. Similarly, four perfect square will also emerge. One square will represent the stability of income, another square will represent the stability of consumption and production and expenditure. These are the four poles of the square of the economy. So all these emerging patterns represent different type of interpretation, and that has been elaborated before also. Now we will try to make a mathematical calculation from these four poles, that if we increase the strength of any pole, then what will happen, because there are four poles, and increase or decrease can always be effected on all these four poles. First, we are going to discuss that if we increase the monetary forces by increasing the expenditure, because in the previous session also we discussed that most of the developmental activities are focused by making more liquidity available, by increasing the expenditure part of the economy, by deficit financing, and by giving the by giving loan to consumers as well as to the industries to create the asset or make the consumption possible. More consumption, because more liquidity means the capacity to make expenditure from it will also increase. So first attempt we are going to make that if we increase the expenditure pole to grow upward means by giving more liquidity available, then what will happen? Actually, how it will cast its effect on the sphere of the economy as well as the sphere of economic stability and all the other geometrical patterns which we have discussed just now. So, if we assume it, because right now we are not dealing with the actual data, if we assume that in a perfect stage of equilibrium, if all the four poles have the strength of 100, then the total area a sphere will contain will be 10,000. What I mean to say, if we multiply 100 into 100, we get the value of 10,000. If we will make the vertical division, so 10,000 divided by 2 means 5,000. So the ideal area, which in the state of ideal state, the two rectangulars of 5,000 value each will emerge. Now, if we increase the strength of expenditure pool by increasing the liquidity by 10%, so what will be the effect if we draw the line upward? Because it is the expenditure growth on the pole of production. It means the expenditure is growing on account of production to increase the production. The purpose of the increase in expenditure is to increase the production. But for increasing the production, first anti-clockwise monetary flow has to start. I told you before, we discussed it before, that the chain reaction starts anti-clockwise. So if the expenditure is growing, it means first it will have to affect the pole of income. Increase income only can cause the consumption to grow, and increased consumption will cause production to grow, and by increased production there will be more expenditure. So this is the circle, anti-clockwise circle of flow of the economy. Now in this change circumstances, by changing the strength of expenditure by 10%, what mathematical value we get? Now I am in the graph, it is not the income, expenditure or production or consumption. I have given it a name. A represents consumption, B represents income, C represents expenditure, and D represents production. So in between there are midpoint. So F is the point from where the vertical division has to be made, and this is to go to the pole of H. So the nomenclature you will find in the economy, that is ABFH. So this is the one rectangular division of the economy, and this shows the strength of demand volume. And demand volume we have discussed before, that it is the combination of consumption and income. Demand results only when the consumption is converted into monetary value of income. Income has to be there first, and then the physical activity of consumption can start. Similarly, another rectangular, that is FCDH. This rectangular represents the supply atmosphere. Supply atmosphere means there has to be a production, and production should be equivalent to the expenditure, that is the cost of the production. So in both the cases you will find that one pole is of physical stability and its monetary counterpart, that is one rectangular will have consumption and income, and another pole will have the production and this monetary equivalent, that is the cost of production or expenditure. Now if we make a comparison that how much deviation has taken place by increasing the expenditure pole by 10%, it has been mathematically calculated that the volume, the strength of the volume will comparatively reduce to 4937.54. That is the value assigned to the changed area of vertical division of the economy, and this chain value of 4900 odd, that is the area of demand volume. So comparatively, this is minus 1.25. That is the value of you can express in either percentage or in simple giving a arithmetical expression, that is minus 1.25. And since we increase the expenditure, so logically the size of the supply atmosphere has to grow. So this vertical division of supply atmosphere will represent now the increased value of 5312.46. That is a 6.25%. Overall, if the 10% increase is there, so it should logically be 5% each. If we once again divide percentage 10% by 2, then we get the 5. So ideally it should have been 5%, but the comparatively demand value is showing the decreased value of minus 1.25%, and by increasing the expenditure, the supply atmosphere is giving the increased value of 6.24%. If we deduct from 6.25, if we deduct 1.25, we get the value of 5%. So basically, if you consider it, that 1.25% is now the point where the values will have to be adjusted first, and then a further chain reaction will start, and this will reflect in different emerging geometrical calculations. So here we have summed up the vertical division of the square as well as the sphere of the economy. Now if we make the horizontal division of the square, what values we get? Horizontal division means the division of physical stability, the lower part of the two pole of consumption and production, that represents physical values, and therefore it is the rectangular of physical stability. The other upper part of it, that is EBCG. This is the total. These are the four poles of horizontal division of the economy, and this EBCG, this rectangular is should have been earlier when it was the stage of stability, perfect equilibrium. In that case, it is once again 5000 was its original value. Now, since the 10% increase in the expenditure has already taken place, so we have to now calculate the effect of 10% increase in the expenditure in horizontal division of the economy. So naturally, since the money supply has increased, therefore the rectangular which is showing the monetary stability is now the physical value. Ideal value was 5005 and monetary value was also 5005, but now the actual area is 121.95 and monetary value is 128. Since the increase is on the production side, therefore both the poles have to show a increased area as well as the monetary area. Since the expenditure was on the pole of production, therefore if any expenditure has gone up, it means that the production has also gone up, and therefore there is a very little difference. as compared to vertical division, where the effect of increase in the supply atmosphere was quite prominent. But in this case, it is not as much as the deviation has not taken place, because the physical as well as the monetary value both have increased. So the physical part of the stability is 1.1.95%. That is the 2.44%. That is the on the plus side. It is not on the negative side. It is on the plus side, as well as the monetary rectangular is also increased 128.05%. It means the expenditure is more because we have increased the flow of liquidity into the economy. Therefore, the monetary forces are much stronger still, because production has to catch up further to achieve the stage of equilibrium. But right now it is showing more expenditure and comparatively less production. Therefore, the increase is comparatively less. It is a 2.56%. The physical stability was 2.44%. It increased, but the monetary value has increased by, you can say, if we divide 2.56, 2.44%, if we divide by, if we deduct it from 2.56%, so remaining is only the difference. But if we combine, because both the values are showing the plus side, 2.44, this is on the plus side, and 2.56 is also on the plus side. If we add these two, once again we will find that the net value is 2.5% only. It means that more or less the area has not grown vertically, and both the monetary as well as physical activity, it has changed. It has caused change in shift of actual point of balance, because if we draw a new square that is touching the point that is shown in the graph, we get the change square of economy, and that is that will show very clearly that what is the effect of change income in the division of the economy vertically and horizontally. In the same graph, you can clearly see what is the deviation in the four poles of stability, that is income, consumption, production, and expenditure. The triangle of stability we will discuss first, that the ABI represent the volume, and it is because it is now four triangles. Earlier we had only two vertical and horizontal division. Therefore, the area was divided by 2, we get the value of 5,000. But now, since we are talking about four triangles of stability, means 10,000 has to be divided by 4. So the value we get is the 2,500. So any deviation we will calculate it in comparison to ideal shape of triangle of equivalent to the value of 2,500. So now the volume area, demand volume area, which was ideally 2,500, it has now come down to 2,439, means minus 2.44%. The monetary triangle was 2,500. Now it is 2,560.98, that is 2.44% on the plus side. Similarly, the supply atmosphere, That was earlier 2500. Now the area changed area is 2689.02, and the highest increase is in this triangle, that is 7.56%. And the triangle of physical stability, it is also showing a sign of increase. From 2500 it has now increased to 2560.98, that is a 2.44%. Now if we consider the volume, that decreased 2.44%, and here is the increase in physical triangle, also similarly it has gained 2.44%. So it is rather a compensatory kind of loss or gain in two triangles of volume, demand value, and the physical counterpart of it is that is also 2.44%. If we consider the net increase, so that is basically in the atmosphere, because the expenditure is on the production side. So this triangle forming part production, ideal point, and then back to expenditure, the biggest increase is in this area, because the monetary value of expenditure we have increased by 10%. Therefore, the maximum increase is can be witnessed here, that is the 7.56%, and monetary value, the triangle of monetary value is 2.44%. So this illustrates the significance, because now in this graph we are not discussing different geometrical patterns separately. Now we are seeing and analyzing the data in totality. All the patterns can be drawn and seen and can be analyzed, given a mathematical meaning to it, by calculating it very scientifically, that if the four poles have value of 100 each, then what will be the total size of the sphere of the economy, as well as the square of stability, that is 10,000. And if we divide it by 4, we get 2,500 is the ideal shape, ideal area. If we divide it by 4, then 5,000 is what we get, that is the ideal area. If we divide it by 4, then 2500 is once again the ideal area of each square of the economy. Now the mathematical calculations are made and presented to you, and also calculating the percentage value, the total area, as well as the deviation in terms of percent, that is if we want to validate it by any other value. Here I have calculated it each value by giving the pole strength 100. You can give it to 150, 200. That is always the equivalent of it. And what is the deviation from that? You can assume any other area of the sphere of the economy, as well as the square of stability, and then you can experiment it yourself, and you will find almost the same results as has been illustrated. Because here I have illustrated only one case, but a interesting and investigating mind would like to analyze it in different perspective, and can recheck it, revalidate his reasoning by applying mathematical formula differently in different cases. And we will also consider that right now we have discussed only the increase in the pole of expenditure. We can analyze it on the increase on income, as well as consumption, as well as production, and we will analyze in following sessions what is the economic logic of emerging geometrical patterns, how the area difference converts into percentage, and percentages are basically used to optimize a solution. because in growth of economy also we say that economy growth is in terms of percentage, that 5% growth or 10% growth or 7% growth, different economies they always express it in terms of percentage, because percentage is easy to comprehend. That percentage is generally more, converts a big data into a small conclusion. If you have a lot of data and if you merge it giving different values to weightage, giving different weightage to different values, then overall percentage will summarize the growth or decrease in the economic activities. So, only to tell you that what is the and how mathematical calculations can give you a clue to interpret economic activity, because logic is already there. It has to be further supported by mathematical calculation and economic logic attached to it. That is the basic objective of the shape of the economy also, that you not only draw a graph that is ideal, but also calculate the deviation from it and what those deviations mean to you mathematically as well as economically. So, economics, this is the mixture, this is the assimilation, this is the how you comprehend the economics, how the interplay affects the emerging patterns of shape of economy. So, in this session, we have discussed only the growth or income, growth of expenditure. In following sessions, we will consider, analyze, and interpret the effect on other poles of the economy as well. Till then, thanks.